All right, guys, I want to talk a little bit here about a broken promise by Scopely. And honestly, I kind of forgot about this until I stumbled upon this blog post here, or blog, I should say, by Updog 2024, Shang-Chi here on Reddit. And it talks about the necessity of the Teal War Orbs rising. And it mentioned here in October 2022, in the second half preview blog, mentioned that there were going to be Teal War Orbs that would be added. Well, here we are 6 months later, and the first half of 2023 blog on the horizon, and still no Teal War Orbs. The need for these orbs, I feel, is rising with the hints of G18 being required for something in the future, and hopefully getting alpha and beta rate difficulties 4 and 5. And they mentioned here the first half of 2023 blog, so that's not been in the game as of yet, but there was a data mine that went out a couple of days ago. I think this was done by Tonic here, that mentions the preview 2023 blog, new blog available, and it mentions here some of the things that are going to be talked about in that blog post. The next legendary character, so I assume a Masters of Evil is probably going to be unlocking this legendary character, Dark Dimension 6, which I don't think a lot of us expected. We probably thought it was going to be another year-long thing, so that's kind of interesting that we're getting a Dark Dimension 6. Alliance War updates, new Incursion Raid, which I know I'm definitely interested in seeing what the traits look like for that, although we do know the invaders are going to be needed for it already, and Rebirth, Cosmic Crucible, 32-player tournament, and then quality of life improvements. So that blog post was mentioned, but there's still a promise that they have not even taken care of from the previous preview that they did last year. And it mentions here, like, Boundless, you are riding on the wave of recent positive vibes from the community, so this is the time to at least announce when they will be added to give us another goodwill gesture. And they're referring to here the 55k milestone points that we got for the Kestrel milestone, and then also the really good mail that we got from him as well. So two things that are really, really good. And it's mentioned here, like, hey, ride this wave and tell us when these Teal War Orbs are going to be coming. It mentioned here too, like, hey, please make sure that these orbs have the centerpieces, gamma radiation, astro energy, etc. Signed, a player of 4 years of the game who still enjoys it and wants to keep thriving. And I definitely agree with this. So one thing is this, like, if you make a promise, I've always been taught, don't make promises that you can't keep, right? At the same time, though, I was taught as a child that promises are also a comfort to a fool. But in reality, I have been told, like, don't make promises that you don't keep. And they made a promise here that this is going to be coming. And here we are upon another 2023 first half of the year blog, but they haven't even fulfilled their promise that they made here in regards to the second half of 2022 for last year. And players do need this Teal War Orb, because G16 and G17 are a bottleneck, right? Like, yes, we are managing the G16 portion of it a little bit better, but the necessity for more G16s are important. Like, if I highlight here, for instance, like, we have two mutant teams. We have Unlimited X-Men, we have Dead Seed, right? I am starting to realize that I'm running a little bit low on things like augmented isochronal compounds. Like, I'm running low on those G16s. The other piece, I forgot what it's called. It's pathogens, right? Adaptive pathogens. I think I only have like 30 or so pieces of those. And I know that I'm going to need to upgrade multiple more characters to get in the G17. And some characters take those for to be able to get to G17 as well. So there's definitely a bottleneck there that needs to be alleviated. And if you're going to be introducing gear tier 18 as a new gear, because of course they recently just increased, right, the level cap, so that means that eventually, right around the corner is going to come this gear tier cap. There definitely needs to be some alleviation of a bottleneck here. And I've been saving my credits, my Elite War credits, because I am waiting for this orb to pop up here in the store. I'm hoping that they're not going to change the currency in regards to what we're going to need for this Teal Gear War Orb here, but I don't think that they're definitely not doing this by mistake, right? I think what they're doing is that they're waiting until they release this gear tier 18 into Marvel Strike Force, and then that is when they're going to release this Teal War Orb, which wouldn't be the greatest feeling, especially considering that, once again, we have the G16 bottleneck, the G17 bottleneck is definitely real, and then you would be introducing a gear tier 18 bottleneck, which will be kind of rough, and of course is what's going to be needed here, most likely for Dark Dimension 6 moving forward. So I am definitely, or maybe they go back to G17, who knows, but I am definitely concerned about that. And there's some other things that are missing too. And there's another blog post here that I wanted to read, but I won't read the whole thing, but at least when I like highlight what he says here. And this was by Ray Narelli, who mentions like, hey, there's a Teal gear stranglehold right now that's a little bit ridiculous. He mentioned, you know, things like not being able to get gamma radiation, right? Like those hero uniques popping up in the Cosmic Crucibles, popping up in the supply store. Like, it's really not enough. There needs to be some other way for players to be able to get some of this gear. The gear raid orbs do help, but also any additional help would be nice to be able to have those Teal war orbs too. So I do think that they need to at least address this sometime soon to let us know what's going on. Like, hey, it's coming on the X date, it's going to be coming on Y date, or this has been delayed. Even if you say like, hey, we're screwing with you, but there's the reason why we're screwing with you. I feel like any sort of messaging would be ideal for the players to be able to have. There is also another thing that was mentioned in this 2022 preview of last year as well, which was the Cosmic Crucible practice mode. Now that one I don't think is as crucial as, of course, the Teal war orb, but it is also something that they did mention that they haven't talked about as of yet. So I am assuming, and I'm well, you know, let me not assume, because then you make an ass out of you, ass out of me, right? So let's not assume by any means, but I'm open, man, that you're going to be mentioning something about that in this blog post here. Maybe you're going to, I assume that this is probably going to go live on Friday, right? Because it's been data mined so quickly. I assume that this might go live this Friday or maybe next Friday. Shoot, it could be the same day when I'm releasing this video. Who knows ultimately when this is going to happen? So for me personally, once again, I think that they definitely need to address that you mentioned it, address that it's going to be coming, address when it's going to be coming, because players definitely need these Teal war orbs right now for reasons that I've already mentioned here in this video. But listen, guys, what are your thoughts as it pertains to this Teal war orb right now? Are you affected by it? I know that I am personally being very mindful of what I upgrade, right? Like, I'm not taking anybody to gear tier 16 that doesn't absolutely really need to go there, or I really need the extra oomph from as it pertains to gear tier 16. I know I'm kind of been holding off on that, but of course that's also not necessarily a fun way to play the game too. You like to be able to have a little bit more. One of the things too is like, I'll wrap it up by saying this, like for G16, the moment that they introduced gear tier 17, G16 should have been that much easier to get. And if we're waiting on this Teal war orb just so we can get G16, it feels kind of weird that we're going in that direction, especially that they're going to be introducing gear tier 18 very soon, once again, because of the level cap, because of also the dark dimension being mentioned here in this data mine blog. But listen, guys, appreciate you watching the video. Let me know what your thoughts are. Like, are you concerned? Are you frustrated? Are you mad? Like, I'm kind of in the place where I'm just like, let's just highlight it, let's let them know about it again so that they can do what is right by the player base here. All right, guys, appreciate you watching the video. Subscribe to the channel if you haven't already. Like, share the video as well if you think somebody can benefit from this. Hit the notification bell so that you know when the videos do go live. Check out our links that are in our description here. Link to our Patreon, where you can support the channel for just $1 a month. Also links to Discord, Twitch, social media as well, guys. But appreciate you watching the video. Until next time, guys, y'all be blessed. I'll be safe.